Greetings everyone, this is Mike Wright, the Astro Sherpa, dropping in with the spatial report. This is a sky full of planets. I'm going to show you on our field trip Venus, Saturn, we won't be able to see Neptune, the moon freshly in Taurus, we won't be able to see Uranus, and then Jupiter retrograde and Mars rising. So Mars right here on the ascendant coming up is bright red. I mean, it's glowing and it's retrograded back into Cancer. So we're going to deal with Mars in Cancer coming back to 17 degrees. So this is another month or two of Mars reconstructive energy around home and family and spiritual stories. So this is also accompanied by Mercury at the last degrees of Sagittarius, which had opposed Jupiter in Gemini retrograde. So both of these planets were retrograde in each other's sign, home base. So Mercury, man, that was a rough one. That's people like old spiritual stories falling apart or disappointments with, groups, spiritual groups. So this is you setting off on new frontiers and looking inwards and letting go of guilt stories, shame and guilt and fear and anxiety. These are the lower frequencies controlled by the lunar Cancer moon aspects. So this moon is making a pretty gnarly square to Pluto, freshly in Aquarius now for good. So we had 3 movements of Pluto back and forth across this opening act of Aquarius. So this is, once the sun hits Pluto in Aquarius, will be the opening act of the opening age of Aquarius. And we'll deal with the North Node coming into Pisces, meeting Neptune, which is a division of, this whole understanding of cosmic consciousness. Neptune's this, from Earth's 3D reality is the last planet, even though in astrology we consider Pluto one of the primary planets. But so Neptune represents the outpost or the spiritual story that we can't see beyond Saturn's old realm, which is the intellectual mind crystallized into matter, 3D, volume, length, width, height, the kingdom. So this is a magnificent story coming up with Venus being released from old structured karmic memories, old stories, chasing these old power plays of Pluto back in Capricorn. So we're winding down this old played out story from the last 100 plus years, 150 years of Neptune, and was during the Civil War, was in the opposite spectrum. We were dealing with Virgo energy. Now we're dealing with Saturn in Pisces, and Neptune in Pisces is these old karmic power struggle stories are ending and we're starting a new age. Literally, the spiritual story path represented by Neptune, spirituality, will be coming to Aries. That's the new equinox point. And the North Node there is the path forward. That's the dragon's head. So then Saturn will be coming up here, finishing up at his trip, just wiping away these old played out songs, movies, replaying each other's music over and over, just mixing it up and giving new versions of the same crap. So this will be brand new spiritual movements in new fields of energy. This is speaking, being independent. So independent labels, independent movie companies, YouTube and all these things were the precursor to what's coming. So we'll see huge innovation. But anyway, let's go out here and take a field trip and show you Venus, Saturn, the moon sandwich there, freshly in Taurus. And Mercury, we won't see Mercury, but Mercury will be leaving Sag finally. And then we'll see Jupiter, and then Mars is wild. So hopefully your cosmic consciousness is understanding these higher spheres have been controlling humanity for a long time. It's just been in different stories, different languages, different aspects. So there's the moon, Jupiter, Venus. Let's get out here when we see Venus good. Venus is over there with Saturn. And then Mars. Man, Mars is wild. Right there, bright red. Let's zoom in on Mars here. Mars ascending. Retrograde back into Cancer. Yeah, now the old lens is fogging up. It's cold here. So there's Jupiter, and Jupiter retrograded back onto Aldebaran. Right there beside it. So that's a watcher. Michael, the archangel. So that's a bright star. There's the moon, and then this Venus. This Venus, she climbed the mountain. She went through Aquarius. Now she's relinquished power and will be going down into this spiritual story with Saturn. So Saturn's right there above. Yeah, so this sky is just full of planets. So hopefully you're tuning into cosmic consciousness. That Venus will keep dropping down and down and down, then she'll be going underneath us before coming out as a morning star. And there's Jupiter coming to, oh, that's 12 degrees. Man, Mars is just bright red. So wow. That is extraordinary to see all these planets in the sky. Just wild. Jupiter retrograde in Gemini on Aldebaran. And that's the moon. That's past 100 degrees. Waxing in Taurus, so that's more grounded moon with the power shifts into Capricorn. So big power shifts, big power changes happening as we go through this full moon cycle coming up in Cancer, over here where Mars is. Won't quite be where Mars was, but anyway, keep tuning up, tuning in. Understand all this affects your physical, emotional, and mental states, and learn to harness this energy and get in tune with the 4 seasons. Obviously we're in the winter, which is the cold, hard dissolution phase, so your spirit can now start to ascend again out of the death cycle. Anyway you go, I hope you're well. Happy 2025, numerical wise. Anyway you go, I hope you're well. Astro, Sherpa out.